Gilbert was a smart person. He was a fun-loving person. He made everybody around him laugh. He was a practical joker, not in a cruel way, but he just was always doing something. Gil loved children, and a police officer who used to be the resource officer at Gilbert School told me after his death that the last time he saw Gilbert, that he was on Brentwood Street giving money to some little children. I just don't know anybody that didn't love Gil, and every year on the anniversary of his death, me and his boys meet at the cemetery and a lot of other family members, and I'm amazed that since 2001, it's been like 12 years, and they still show up every year, so that tells me a lot about what kind of person my son was. My name is Jessie Barber. My son was Gilbert Alexander Barber. He was 22 years old. He was born in High Point, North Carolina, and had lived his entire life here. He attended local schools. He was the youngest of my 3 sons. He was out one night, and he was in a car wreck on Guilford Drive, which is a well-traveled street in High Point.
When was this?
This happened May 18th, 2001. After being in a car wreck, he ended up in a neighborhood. There was a church across the street, and there were several houses on the other side of the street. I was told that Gilbert was yelling, and I suspect that he was yelling because he needed help. Anyway, some people in the neighborhood heard him yelling and called a sheriff's deputy. The sheriff deputy responded to the scene. He was on the scene 113 seconds, and my son was dead. Had been shot 3 times, and the deputy admits that his commands to my son were, "Get the fuck on the ground, get the fuck on the ground." Never once did he offer help or any type of assistance. It was later said that Gil took the gun from the deputy, shot the deputy, and the deputy took the gun back and then killed my son. None of that has been put into evidence. By the time I was notified, when I was notified of his death, Gilbert's body had already been taken to Chapel Hill to the medical examiner's office for an autopsy. They never attempted to resuscitate him. The sheriff had held a press conference before I was aware of his death. And at the press conference, the sheriff, B.J. Barnes, called my son a raging bull, and also said that he was probably on PCP. The autopsy proved that he had no substance in his body. The only substance that they found was nicotine, because occasionally he smoked Black and Milds. It was a big cover-up. They said that Gilbert broke into the church. I requested telephone records from the church, because if he broke in the church, it was to use the telephone. I was refused that information. The preacher at the church had 2 conversations with me, and then he decided not to talk to me anymore. I suspect he was told not to talk to me anymore. We found out after the fact that some of the neighbors, some of the people that had called 911 were employees of the sheriff's department. In fact, when I picked up Gil's property, I had to walk past the desk of one of the witnesses of the incident. And there was a big cover-up. It took forever for me to get 911 tapes. And I always wondered if they'd been doctored, but I have no way of knowing. The sheriff refused to call in the SBI. which, knowing that that was a police agency too, the investigation probably would have turned out the same way, but I'll never know because he didn't do that. And I called the SBI myself, and I was told that only the DA or the sheriff could request them, that I couldn't. Gilbert was criminalized, demonized. The family was treated like dirt, and we still have been even to this day. We started protesting and printing flyers and stuff, and the sheriff tried to sue me and Gilbert's father because we called the cop a murderer. We were told not to call him a murderer anymore, but the judge in that case said that these people have lost somebody that they love, and I would not do that to them. So he didn't sanction us for $10,000, but he did tell us not to use the word murderer. But Thomas Gordy, Guilford County Sheriff's deputy, is a murderer, and I'll continue to say it. It's been, every time they kill another person, it's just like deja vu, but especially in this last case of Mr. Ferrell in Charlotte, because the circumstances are eerily just like Gil, somebody injured in a car wreck, seeking help and end up dead. It tells a lot about the mentality of this country. I mean, for a white female to assume that a black man knocking on her door wants to kick her door in or wants to rape her, or any of those old stereotypes that still exist. And it's a known fact that if a man, I mean, they kill indiscriminately. They kill black, they kill white, they kill Hispanics. But our statistics will show that black people are their main victims. And a black man that's large in stature is in more danger than one that's small in stature. It's just a whole lot of racism in this country. There's a whole lot of profiling, and it's gone on forever, and it continues to go on. And I don't think changing laws will solve the problem. It's going to take more than changing some laws. People's whole mindset has to be changed. We asked that the people in Greensboro undergo some sensitivity training, but they didn't institute that. In fact, I think part of the training is a few hours of sensitivity training, but for a problem that goes as deep as that, I don't think a few hours is anywhere near sufficient. And I guess that's about all I can say about that.